Hello everyone, Jessica Peterson here over at Simply Wow Agency, and I'm also a real estate agent as well. And I'm so excited to dive in today to talk with Michelle, the founder of Magnolia School of Real Estate based out of Florida. Hey Michelle.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. Well, as always, I created a program called Wow Power Players. We're a community of real estate agents all about wowing people, our business, and creating a wow life. And today I know you're going to share some pretty powerful information that actually impacts real estate agents' lives, especially new real estate agents. I had the honor to experience a school, and then I also hired you and I did the online. So we're going to have a conversation. What's the best way? I have all sorts of questions here for you. So before we dive into my questions, we want to provide as much information, power-packed, in the shortest amount of time possible. So share with us a little bit more about who you are and how the school came about.
Great. Well, Magnolia School of Real Estate is brand new. It's only been open for 6 months, and it's just a school provided to just pretty much what you were saying. There's so much information out there, and there's so many different ways to go about it. And so Magnolia School of Real Estate came about because I wanted to find a better way to do it and an easier way to get a real estate license. So that's what we're all about at Magnolia.
I love it. So the Florida real estate license application, what are the actual steps?
So you actually only have to do 4 things to get your real estate license. So the first thing you would do is apply for a license, and you would do that on myfloridalicense.com. And then the second thing is to get fingerprints taken, and there you could apply on that same website for fingerprints. And then you would need to take your 63-hour pre-license course. You can take that online, or you can take that with a school classroom base. And then the last thing is actually to get your license would be to sit for your state exam. And that's a 100-question exam.
What's the average time frame for a Florida real estate license application from beginning until they're actually licensed? What's the average?
An average time is probably 2 months, but if you attend Magnolia, we can do it in much sooner. So for instance, I have a class starting in 2 weeks. All of the students that are coming to the class have already filled out the application, and they've already submitted fingerprints. So when the class ends on the 22nd, I've recommended that they take their state exam on the 23rd. So in that case, you're looking at less than 2 weeks to get your license because you've done the first 2 steps in advance.
And you know, I recall sitting in class. I took a class before I met you, and someone referred you, and I'm beyond grateful for it. And I sat there, and I've discovered some real estate agent, or wanting to be real estate agents, clarify, they kept failing and not passing, and it was devastating to them. And I spoke with one agent. She said it was so devastating, it actually impacted her life in a very negative way. We won't go into details today. So how hard is it really to pass a real estate exam? Let's be open, raw, and real on how hard it is.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you, it is extremely difficult to pass that if you take an online course and you're not dedicated to learning the material, truly teaching yourself. And it's extremely difficult, in the 40% area for a pass rate if you're taking a class with an instructor that's not covering the material. So again, my passion is teaching. I teach you the material all day long, and we just talk about the material. So it's quite simple, because if you spend 7 days, and I know that sounds like a very, big statement, but if you spend 7 days truly covering the material, you're bored when you get to the state exam. So the question, how hard is the test? It depends on how you cover the material.
That's a really good point. And how does one go about passing the real estate exam?
Well, again, you can do a classroom-based instruction, or you can do online. But either way, once you get that certificate that states you've passed those 63 hours, then that's when you would take the state exam. So you just have to ask yourself, am I ready to take this exam? Well, if you know all of the material, the answer is, of course, yes. And if not, then that's when you would want to take a prep class, or you would want to study more or hire a private tutor. So many different ways to get to that end game. That's what my whole passion is. I'm so excited. My students are walking right out and 2 days later taking the state exam, because that's all we prep for. It's almost like a prep class 7 days straight. So exciting.
Yes, so I experienced online because I was on a speaking tour, as we spoke about. And so I experienced online, and then I went to a weekend, I don't know what you call it, like boot camp or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh, wow, this is overwhelming. And then I remember I hired you. What I hired you for, and I really like, is you would do these practice exams. And you said, okay, Jessica, you are ready. I'm like, really? And what I value about you, Michelle, is I have heard of some people, you telling them you're not ready.
Right.
right?
Absolutely. You can tell pretty quickly, just a few minutes to someone. I knew just a few minutes into the conversation with you, you spent the time and you really put the effort in, and you just needed a couple of blanks filled in for you because you were ready. I mean, you were the one, you're one of the exceptions that says, I'm going to sit down and really learn this material. And you taught it to yourself, and you just needed me for just that little push. And really, to be honest, you didn't need me, but I'll take that credit.
No, I need you. I need you. So a lot of real estate salespersons go out there and looking for practice exams free. Where does one go about finding them?
Oh, you can Google all kinds of practice exams. Just Google real estate practice exam for the sales associate. You can get Climber School of Real Estate has a good practice test, but really you can even get on YouTube. If you want free resources, you absolutely can find them. And there's really nothing out there that's bad, because any practice is practice. So you definitely just Google it, YouTube it. When I was studying to get my license, YouTube, I would just put YouTube on even when I drove and just listen to questions and answers, questions and answers.
That's a really good insight. Don't you have a book? Tell us about your book.
Well, the book, I actually have two books. So one book is just designed for someone like you that took it online and then you would like some additional tutoring. So that book is just filled with all 19 chapters broken down into very simple words, because the law is hard to interpret. And so if you just say, well, this is what they're trying to say, oh, well, that makes sense. So that's one book, and it's filled. It's got probably 650, I think, practice questions in it. But the other book that I've written is a supplement to go along with the actual class. And so we don't focus the whole 7 days on the class test, because the class test is not the big hurdle. We focus on the big hurdle, which is the state exam. And so the book, after every single chapter we cover, then we take practice tests over and over. And then the next day, anything we cover, we take practice tests on that. And then the next day, we will cover 2 days. And so every moment is constantly taking tests. And then we also break into groups so we can study the material together. They say that you remember 10 to 20% of what you see, you remember 20 to 30% of what you hear, but you remember 70 to 80% of what you discuss. So we have blocks of time where we sit and discuss the material. It just goes in and it stays in your long-term memory better. So that's what that book is about. It's about a process. How much can I put this information in so many different ways?
And I love your passion for this. I know you're always so excited and so passionate. I absolutely love it.
Call me and I'm always at the top of their list. Maybe not the first, but I'm just with them. And so when they call me and tell me they passed the test, almost every single day since this has started, I get to hear a student say, I passed my test, and you were a part of it. And I'm crying all the time on the phone. My kids are like, oh, another one passed, because I'm crying and screaming in Walmart because my students are passing, and you get to be a part of that. Like, you help change someone's life.
Oh, totally. And isn't your percentage of people who pass way higher? Like, it's way higher, and you, like, yes. How high is it?
I've only had 2 people that have not passed it the first time in 6 months. And it's almost 30 students that have taken it at this point. I could get you an exact number. But the reason that I know that is because I track it. I have a book with every single student in it, and I don't even call them students after the first day. They're my friends. That bond that you create, like what happened with us.
Yeah.
And I track it. When is your test scheduled? Where are you taking it? Can I get together with you before you take it? Do you need any additional time? And I will tell you, the only 2 students that didn't pass it, and this is not excuses, this is just because my record, I wanted that 100%. One of the students didn't study. He was not a studier. And the other student, pardon me, I got so excited, I don't have a dry throat. The other student waited 4 months to take it.
Wow.
And didn't study for 4 months. So that's why I'm telling all the students, come in with your fingerprints and your application done, because you're going to walk out of here ready to take it. And any minute that passes by after that, it just starts to leave you, because it's not the most exciting material. So I do have 2 out of, again, it's about 30 that have gone through at this point.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
It's in the 90s for sure. But again, I'm the only school that tracks it. I find that's my favorite part of the job, is keeping up with how you're doing. So that's exciting.
That is really exciting. And I remember the day I passed, like, because I'm a certified business coach, now life coach, on top of being a real estate agent. And I love having other real estate agents join me in my mission to be a wow power player, to wow people, our business, our lives. And that first day I passed, you, like, can you come by this school and, you know, share? Because I love to come by schools, and I love to empower people with ways to, you know, not be overwhelmed and to actually grow your business and to create a wow life. So I remember I said, okay. So I remember I was so exhausted after taking the test and I was in your class, but we had some pretty powerful conversations that day.
I still have people talk about that. There's a lady named Debbie. I think her name is pronounced Hymus. But we still talk about that, because when you came in and you talked to everybody, you couldn't tell that you were tired or exhausted, because you have your passion. And so your passion is helping other people. And so that comes out when you get in front of people. And you've helped so many people. How many of my post classes have you been in, and you're coming in to another post class? So yeah, absolutely. That's something that we have in common. Your passion for helping other people constantly, that is what drives you.
Yes, absolutely. And it drives me not only to serve people in my own community, and I love connecting people all over with the right, you know, real estate agents, the right fit for them. And let's have that conversation, because I did refer someone today, a couple homes in another state, and he's all, I'm not at the same agency you're at. So I'm the Luxure team brokered by eXp Realty. I'm like, I know. So let's have a real conversation about, got your real estate license, now what? Let's have that conversation. What is next?
What is next? Absolutely. So next is you decide what kind of real estate agent do you want to be? Do you want to work for a broker? Do you want to work for a property manager broker? Or do you want to work for an owner developer, which is like a builder? And so once you decide which path you want to take, the first thing you realize is that whatever path you do choose, it doesn't have to be a permanent. So, you know, some people are scared, I can't hang my license here because what if this is not, you know, good for me in a year? Well, that's okay. You would change. And so when you get your license, the first thing that you would do is to make a list. What is important to you? A lot of people don't want to go to an office. So a company like eXp is going to be great. My friend Shannon, she loves working with you. Her business quadrupled in 2 weeks when she started working with you, and she loves it. Some people, they need the desk. I have a lady that just went through, and she's 75 years old. She comes into the office every day just so she could be in her office. She's not going to sell a lot of real estate because she's in the office, but you know, that's of course tongue in cheek, but she loves going to the office. So you would decide what works for you, and then just make that list and just start going around and talking to different brokers and just interviewing them and finding out who has the most things on your list checked off.
Absolutely. And I've created a list. It's on my website, luxureteam.com, on also key questions to ask, because it doesn't mean the agency I'm with is the right fit for everyone. And like you said, be clear what you want, but a lot of people forget some other important questions to ask. Yes. So I love creating those questions. I mean, I've been around the real estate industry since the 99? I'm dating myself. so I'm always learning though. I'm always learning. And so I came up with these different questions because it breaks my heart when a real estate agent's like, oh, I joined this company and it wasn't the right fit because I didn't realize to ask this question. So I love diving deep into those questions. And
yes, I read those. Those are great questions because like you said, a lot of people, they only ask two things. What is the training? What is the split? Well, there are so many things that are as important or more important than that. And so that is a really powerful list that you have.
Absolutely. Really. Absolutely. And training, it's so fascinating because I just had a newer agent join me over eXp and he's like, wow, I've never seen so much training. There's so much that's overwhelming. So we're diving into, okay, what areas for you to focus? Because, you know, your time is so precious. You don't want to just be sucked into training. You want to be out there actually making money and making an impact in lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would agree with that perfectly. Shannon, the one that we were talking about, she loves the training. Anytime that she's actually coming into one of my classes to help out. And she's barely, you know, a year and a half, but because of the training at eXp, you don't even know she's new because she's the one coming in and showing people how to use, you know, how to do CMAs and how to, she's showing them how to use Showtime, and we're going on field trips, and all of this is from Shannon from eXp training.
I love Shannon. She's an amazing WOW Power player. I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's more than just the business. She's been on a big journey of transforming and creating a WOW life for herself. which is what I absolutely love. My book, Create the Perfect Day. My next book is not only for real estate agents, but also for people and how to create a wow life in and around their home. So it's business, it's home, and all of it integrates together.
Yes. Well, after she met you and joined your team, I went over to her house and she has her big, what do you guys call it? Is it your dream board? Yes. So she has the big board and it's got her house dream and her, her business plan is on it. And it's just got her whole life on that board. And you see it in her office. And so she says, this is her Jessica Peterson board.
It's her digital. Well, we have a digital and a physical, but it's a dream big board because vision boards trademarks. You can't call it that. Basically, it's similar. Okay. Well, I am so grateful that you shared so much information. How do people go ahead and connect and reach out to you?
They can call the school at 941-201-9762, and even easier, they could get right on the website. It's www.magnoliaschoolofrealestate.com.
Awesome. And thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, you can always go ahead and go to Simply Wow Agency or Luxour Team, LUXOUR team.com. Look forward to connecting with you and answering questions. I know, Michelle, you are so happy to do the same. And I'm so grateful for you and all that you do for so many of us real estate agents. So thank you.
Thank you for taking the time today to let me talk about my school. I love that.
Of course. We've got to get this information out there to positively impact and change and assist other real estate agents' lives. So thank you, everyone. Make it a wow day.
Bye.